Hello, my name is Dr. Alistair Hewitt, Archivist of the SCP Foundation. If you are seeing this, then you will have level 3 clearance or higher. If you don't, then you will be eligible for immediate termination. Today we will be looking at SCP-055, Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Object is kept within a 5 by 5 by 2.5 meter square room constructed of cement, 50 centimeters in thickness, with a Faraday cage surrounding the cement walls. Access is via a heavy containment door measuring 2 by 2.5 meters, constructed on bearings to ensure that the door closes and locks automatically unless held open deliberately. Security guards are not to be posted outside SCP-055's room. It is further advised that all personnel maintaining or studying other SCP objects in the vicinity try to maintain a distance of at least 50 meters from the geometric center of the room, as long as this is reasonably practical. Description.
Did you really think you would get rid of me that easy, Dr. Hewitt? Let me tell you a story. The same story I told him. In the time when the tree of knowledge was planted, all things were given form. Even the deep waters of the darkness below and the vaults of the darkness above took shape and form. And many elder gods were born of them. Of these gods, whose names are oft forgotten, there was Karak. Karak was not great upon his formation. In truth, he was small. He crawled around the darkness of the abyss, but unlike his brothers and sisters, he knew himself, and he knew the abyss. So, blessed and cursed by awareness, he felt pain and loneliness. And he looked out beyond the depths. But the thought of the light and the shade of the tree pained him more. Existence was pain, and he would have no part of it. It would be better to not exist. It would be better for all things not to exist. Upon this vow he consumed his brothers and sisters, and grew strong on their essences. This act, this first sin of Karak, caused him greater pain as he grew greater. He grew blinded by his pain. So great was his spite, his absolute hate, that he cursed the creation and its creator, and vowed to destroy the tree and all it supported in its branches and roots. He clawed his way up to his throne of the bones of his fellow gods in those dark eons. Many other gods were born of the darkness below, died in these times, or chose to leave the shadowed realms to work within creation. Those that remained grew old and powerful, but they were bound in subjugation under Karak. When there were no more gods to subjugate in the lower realms, Karak declared himself king of the darkness below and took the name Knithhor and set the boundaries of his kingdom. This kingdom he built to bring utter despair to those whom lived among the tree's roots and branches, to share his pain with all of creation as he destroyed it. He diverted many souls to his realm, delivering pain untold to them, as they were stayed from their true rest. With the borders of his realm set down, the king declared his war. His servants, and there were many, those birthed of the darkness below and those who had fallen in service to the king, surged out of his kingdom. And there was war on with creation. This war continues to this day, and shall not end until the end of all things. The old gods the king had subjugated, Sana was considered to be the wisest and most beautiful. She had not remained in the king's realm willingly, but her escape had been prevented by circumstance. She obeyed the king with her words, but not her soul. And for this goodness she is mourned. With war declared, the king took Siana by force and lay with her for 7 days and nights, until the mother of those beneath us was broken beneath the king. When this was completed, he rose in her blood, and was from then on known as Shormanshah Rudal, the Scarlet King. 7 children were born of Sienna, 7 daughters of the Scarlet King, emerging from her broken womb. The king saw this and took them by force to be his brides. Upon the 7 brides the king put 7 seals, so they may never die as Sienna did. With them the king gave rise to 7 ranks of abominations, 7 orders of Leviathan, who became his most beloved servants, who marched at the front of his war. Of the 7, this can be said. The first bride was Aktvik. She was beloved of the king. Though her children were few, her loyalty, her children were made wise above all others, and they knew well the ways of war. By their hand they guided the war and led it to victory. Her seal was Vaduk, domination. For just as she sought domination, so she was dominated. The second bride was Aghor. A great hole was rent in her soul that she could not fill. So she despaired and wept. She brought forth many children, and her children brought forth armies that led in the tide of unthinking to go forth and conquer. Her seal was Kithen, longing, for neither the king nor her children could provide her what she sought. The third bride was Adastat. She had a great hatred of her sisters and brought ruin upon all she surveyed. She blasphemed upon sacred ground. Her children rode out to declare triumph of the king, drowning battlefields in blood and ash. Spreading pestilence and fear in their wake. Her seal was Hezun, desolation, for she wiped bare and furrows her soul was salted. The fourth bride was Azebi. She was vast and powerful and terrible to behold, taking the form of a great beast. Her children were like her, feared no weapon or magical spell, for their injuries would heal and their hides impenetrable. Her seal was Wrath, for by her hate she was forever bound in conflict. The fifth bride was Anut. She was strong in mind though frail in body. Her children were wise in the ways of magic, and created a great destruction. Because of their power, the king had them crippled, so that they may not rise up against him. Hasil was near, lack, for her thirst and her thirst of her children was never quenched. The sixth bride was El Talif. She spoke not and held herself private. Her children could change their face and move about unseen, and walk among creation unknown. They opened ways between worlds and made way for the war to spread. Her seal was Ushek, hidden, for she was lost in shadow. The seventh bride was Ahabat. She was the smallest and weakest of the seven, but she was not broken utterly by the king, and was horrified by her state. Her children walked on two legs, and were mighty hunters and heroes. She taught them in secret, hoping that they might destroy the children of her sisters and overthrow the king. They are few, and they have failed. Her seal was Oxkib, hope, for she was doomed to know of what she could not achieve. The seven brides were sealed forever. The legions of their children spread out and added their strength to the war. Worlds that had resisted the dark gods of the king fell under the weight of ceaseless assault. The roots of the tree rotted and festered with the king's spawn. There is little more to be said.
It appears to be possible to remember what SCP-055 is not, negation of fact, and repeatedly deduce its existence from these memories. Personnel involved in Survey 19-055-127BXE reported moderate levels of disorientation and psychological trauma associated with cycles of repeated memory and forgetfulness of 055. However, no long-term behavioral health problems have been observed, and psych assessments of the surveyed personnel show consistent reports of the distress fading over time. Recommendations: it may be worthwhile to post at least one staff member capable of remembering the existence of SCP-055 at each crucial site. Thank you for joining me today as we looked at SCP-055. And remember, secure, contain, protect.